Could we get everyone to take a seat, please? Going to go ahead and call the December board meeting to order. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the pledge in a moment of silence. Ms. LeBou, would you lead us in the pledge, please? You have the floor, Mr. Angel.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask all of us to pray for a very dear friend of mine, Francis Knight, who died a couple of days ago. Francis is the father of Pageant Knight Guidry, who works for us. He succumbed to the virus, and let us all pray for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Angel. And we all offer our condolences to Pageant. There'll be no opening comments from the superintendent this evening. She was called away to a family emergency. We're going to move on with the meeting, but we want, as we always try to remain professional here is within the school system, board, employees. Personally, I want to wish Irma and her family the very best. We send our prayers, our thoughts, and our love. It's her mother, and as we have this meeting and move forward, keep Irma in our prayers and our thoughts. She was very upset when she called me, probably about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So we're going to dispense with the superintendent's open comments and move straight to the information items. First on the agenda is academics 2021-2022 coordinated funding request for early childhood. Dr. Rabelais or Ms. Dewey?
Good evening. I'm going to let Emmy Thibodeau, our network coordinator, explain that process.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Emmy Thibodeau. The coordinated funding request requests the public funding seats for children birth to 5 in Louisiana. And so this process is handled through the Early Childhood Network. So this process will go live tomorrow on the LPSS website, which will have our program requests for seats for children birth to 3 through the Preschool Development Grant, and for 4-year-olds through the LA4 program and the non-public schools of early childhood education or NSCCD program. So these seats will be live tomorrow for public comment to December 9th. Any public comments can be submitted to our agency through the email on the website. And this is a process that is done annually.
Thank you. Are there any board member questions? That's it. Thank you. Next up is the scheduled date for the January 2021 regular board meeting. I went ahead and put this on there. Our January board meeting will be Wednesday the 6th, as we will be electing officers for the board, and we are required to do this as soon as possible. So that is the first Wednesday of the month. So our meeting will be January 6th, and the new president will put the meeting schedule out for the year. So that'll follow that meeting. 2.3 is employee services, personnel changes, December 2nd, 2020. Ms. Gardner, Mr. Mouton? No personnel changes. It's a good thing. 2.4 is facilities, the monthly facilities update, Mr. Guidry or Mr. Bordelon. Is there anything to report, Mr. Bordelon? Okay. Any board members, anybody has any questions on any upcoming projects for Mr. Bordelon? This is our chance to ask. Ms. LeBou?
I wanted to ask the tracks at the 3 schools. Did I miss the date of when they'll be completed?
They are completed.
And that we're able to use them for spring sport?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful, thank you.
Any other board member questions? Thank you, Mr. Bordelon. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'll read the items. Any item can be pulled by a board member. We'll have discussion. 3.1, discussion and action concerning the proposed virtual discipline learning policy. 3.2, discussion and action concerning revisions to policy BD, JDE, and JDD. 3.3, discussion and action regarding the basic supplemental and AD&D life insurance benefits.
Pull that, please.
3.4, feasibility study and master plan for Northside High School and J.W. Falk Elementary. 3.5, discussion and action concerning creation of job description for owners rep. 3.6, discussion and action concerning salary schedule revisions and related budget revisions.
Pull that, please.
That is 3.6. Who asked for that to be pulled? Ms. LeBou, okay. 3.7, discussion and action concerning budget revision to self-funded construction fund. 3.8, facilities, discussion and action concerning approval of bids for JROTC buildings at Acadiana High and Comeaux High. 3.9, discussion and action concerning approval of final deduction of servitude for Middlebrook Elementary. 3.10, discussion and action concerning the grant fund summary for November 2020. 3.11, discussion and action concerning budget to actual reports for November 2020. 3.12, resolution 12-20-1992, canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the general election held November 3rd, 2020. 3.13 is discussion and action concerning the minutes of November 11th. October 12th, 21st, September 22nd, and July 28th. And 3.14 is approval of all consent items.
Mr. President, I move that we.
Mr. Angel?
Pull 3.8, is that the ROTC?
Yes.
Please pull 3.8, thank you.
Okay,
Mr. President, I move that we approve all items not pulled.
we have a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mrs. Santani and seconded by Ms. Morrison that we approve all items not pulled. At this time, if you have any comments on any of the items not pulled, those that were pulled were 3.3, 3.6, and 3.8. Please come up now. Please state which item you are speaking on.
Good evening. I'm speaking on item 3.1. Just to clarify, that was not pulled. That's in consent, right? I have a question about jurisdiction and custody. So, I guess not a question, a rhetorical question. Has it been considered the jurisdiction of the school board? And I had this conversation with legislators too about this to begin with, but where does it end and where does it start where a school board has authority and jurisdiction over somebody's house? I had some questions about the special education and the 504 and those students, but Ms. Artigo already cleared that up for me, so thank you. But I do have some other concerns. There are some items in there that are subjective. So my request to the board is to shorten the policy and keep it a little cleaner, because there are some sections in the policy as is that are concerning. It leaves it too much, it's too open to subjectiveness. There's a section in there referring to PII, personally identifiable information. So that means if, you know, little Lucy in 3rd grade is sitting there and has a photo of herself and her friends wearing her Middlebrook school shirts on the back of her bulletin board in her class, in her virtual class space, which is at home, that's PII, because that's more than 2 pieces of information that identify who students are and where they're at. So if you're talking about PII in there, that could also be subjective. And, you know, when it comes to disciplinary actions, I don't think that those types of things should be included in that, especially when they have those types of definitions following them. So my ask of you all is to review that again and take out some of those things that really just don't need to be there. When the legislatures decided to pass this, it was for specific reasons that it was all over the news. You could keep it cleaner and shorter and still have a virtual discipline, virtual learning policy, but I just don't think some of those things in there are conducive and are going to do what you need them to do because of the subjectivity and the definitions of some of those items listed in there. So thank you.
Any other public comment? Please state the item you're speaking on, please.
Hi, I am Gemma Sedillo, speaking on behalf of Lafayette Parish Association of Educators on item 3.2 about the committees that are going to be formed to review the discipline policy. And we just want to make sure that teachers are represented on that committee in a fair way, so that it's not discriminatory or arbitrary.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment on any item not pulled? Hearing none. Any board member comment on any item not pulled? Mrs. Santani?
I just wanted to point out to our friends at Lafayette High, everyone who cares about Lafayette High being rebuilt, which I think all 9 of us do, that tonight's item, I forget which one it was, 5, with the owner's rep job description. That's the first step towards getting these projects off the ground. Dr. Aguilar and I were discussing a timeline going into 2021, and there's going to be some organizational steps that have to be taken. There's going to have to be some procedural steps that have to be taken dealing with how we expend public money. But I think right now, just a very loose expectation for everyone is that we should be able to have architects selected and ready to work on this sometime around June of 2021. So we're going to have several items in the coming months taking care of these steps that we have to take. So I look forward to everybody following along with us as we move towards building these 3 very, very needed projects. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Santani. Any other board member comments? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
Mr. President, while
Ms.
we're
LeBeau?
voting, can we ask, did Julia Reed have her baby?
You can.
She did? Okay, all right.
It was a boy or girl? Girl.
Aw, well, we want to send a congratulations to Julia Reed. She's watching, so. Yeah.
Congratulations, Ms. Reed.
Nine for, none against.
Motion carries. We'll now move to the pulled items. The first one, 3.3, discussion and action regarding the basic supplemental and AD&D life insurance benefits. Mrs. Santani?
Mr. President, I move that the board approves Unum as the provider for our basic supplemental AD&D life insurance with the rates provided and provisions provided by our broker at the Employee Retiree Insurance Advisory Committee meeting on November 30th.
Have a motion? We have a motion by Mrs. Santani, seconded by Mr. Broussard. I'll read the motion as soon as it comes up, but it's that we select Unum as the company we'll use. Is there any public comment on this item? Is there any board member comment on this item? Dr. Shasso?
Is there anyone here that I could ask a quick question to about the rates and the guaranteed issue life insurance situation?
Dr. Chasson, Ms. Trish is in the audience, and we have Shane Pennington, our broker for EBI, which voluntary benefits go through on Zoom. So I can turn him on and you can hear.
Okay. My question is,
Hang on one second. My apologies. Mr. Pennington, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can
okay,
you hear Dr. Chasson?
He's a little broken. You may have to repeat the questions for me.
so my question is, it looks like it looks like, is it Unum? Is that the proper way to pronounce it, Unum? It looks like Unum, they were able to match US Able's employee paid basic life insurances, but it looks like US Able is gonna offer all of our active employees $200,000 life insurance, no questions asked. Was Unum just not up to offering the same thing, or they chose not to? Did they give a reason or not?
That is correct. The board, as you know, directed me the last time to go back to Unum to see if they would match the current offer by US Able. One thing that we did in addition, I know that you didn't ask this, but I did want to make note of this, is that we did take it back out to 3 new carriers, Aflac, Reliant Standard, and MetLife, and we weren't unable to get them to quote or bid on the product either. So it came back down to the US Able offer and Unum. I sent a very specific email to Unum to ask them to match the US Able offer, and they decided that they would match the rates. They decided that they would extend their rate guarantee 1 additional year, which would take it through the end of 2022. And where that differs is US Able is offering a guaranteed issue opportunity for all active employees, their spouses, and their children for 2021. And they are offering an additional 1 year of rate guarantee. And when they sent me that, I went back to them and said, these are the only 2 differences. Are you sure you don't want to match those? And they chose not to do that.
Okay, thank you, sir. I would at least like to state that it looks like we're getting now comparable rates from both companies, and Unum now matches US Able, which I'm actually really happy for, because I know the is the proper terminology, it's not the retiree committee, it's the insurance committee? Yeah, I always make the mistake of saying the retiree committee. The insurance committee, wants to go with Unum. I would still prefer to go with US Able based upon if we can get the same thing from both companies plus something extra from the other company. And that something extra is a guaranteed life insurance that it doesn't matter if you have a pre-existing condition or not. I mean, I can have a certain disease state and still be able to acquire this life insurance. And if something happens to me post sign up, then my family can get $200,000, which to me is very valuable. I really wish Unum would have matched it, which would have been easy to say now. If the insurance committee wants Unum, then at least they matched it. But I would still prefer to go with US Able, and I just wanted to state that. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Chasson. If we could, Mr. Angel would like to make a substitute motion.
Yes, I would, Mr. President. I'd like to make a substitute motion that the board approve US Able Life Insurance provider for basic supplemental AD&D insurance for active and retired employees effective January 1, 2021.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
We have a motion by Mr. Angel, a second by Ms. Morrison, that the board approves US Able. Is there any public comment on this substitute motion? I'll now open the floor for any board member comment on this motion. Madam
Mr.
Secretary,
President,
I'll call for the vote.
Oh, I just have a question.
Go ahead.
Or a comment. I see the current retiree basic life rate, under Unum, but I don't see anything under US Able. So are they able to get any life insurance under US Able? It doesn't appear there's any indication of, and is that a difference with Unum?
Ms. Gardner?
Is the question, I'm sorry, can you repeat for the new, for,
I see that there is a current retiree basic life rate. So I'm assuming that is a life insurance rate for retirees, correct?
I'm gonna let Ms. Trish come up, to talk, Ms. LaBeouf, who runs the, insurance department.
But US Able doesn't have anything. So that's why I just wanted to see if there's a,
So she'll be able to explain the retirees
Okay,
versus
thank you.
eligibility for, that.
Ms. LeBou, are you specifically asking with regard to the basic or the supplemental? Which one are you asking?
there is no basic life rate for current retirees under US Able. So I just wanted to see,
I
what
do have
the
it.
stance is on that.
Yes, there's a rate under the basic for both of them under US Able. It's got, the retiree rate under Unum is $7.50. The US Able rate would be the $7.10. That would be the premium reduction that both US Able and Unum are agreeing to for 2021 moving forward.
Okay, so that's current and future. I guess that's why it's only in one column and not,
It's actually down in that box, on the smaller portion where it
Oh, I
shows
see.
the retiree basic for the 3,134 members. The current rate is the $7.50. That's what the district pays for retirees under the basic plan. And then both have agreed to the $7.10 for the retirees.
okay,
And then if you
perfect.
look below, the active repeats, the 140 is the current, the reduction would be the $1.16.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other board member comment? Ms. Gardner, could I ask you to explain, the benefit of, or the difference of US Able with the, guaranteed life insurance for our employees, and you know, maybe why one is offering this and one's not, and the fact that it looks like Unum will guarantee the rates or whatever till 2022, and US Able will go to 2023.
Yes, sir.
We could touch on that, please.
Yes, sir. So when you're looking at the chart, And so currently, we have Unum, and yes, they did come down to match the price as US Able. Currently, when you're hired in the district as a new hire employee, you are eligible for life insurance for as part of your voluntary benefit package. So currently, they're still guaranteed issuance to all new hires, no matter what your extenuating circumstances are. The difference that US Able, they've matched the price, but currently, all active employees would be eligible to get that insurance, even if they have a pre-existing. So if we have multiple people who have cancer or fighting a disease, they would be able to, as an active employee, get that. So currently, we have 600 people in our district that have opted for life insurance. We have 3,500 employees currently that have no life insurance. Those 3,500 employees that are not new hires or current employees would be eligible to enroll into life insurance without any questions asked. And so that's the employee benefit side for our current employees now. I do want to state that if we stay with Unum, and that's the board's vote, it just stays it is. If it does go to US Able, we want our employees to also know they do not have to do anything as far as changing anything over. It is a direct rollover. So they don't have to fill out paperwork or anything. It is just automatically rolled over, and they don't lose any of their service, including our retirees that have life insurance that they purchased years ago that they might have. It automatically rolls over. So there's no disruption in service. And again, the 3,500 employees that do not have life insurance in our district would have an option to add it. And a person who is on leave, I thought I should add that also, a person who is on sick leave at this time, that maybe they're receiving chemotherapy treatment, or they're on leave, even maternity leave at this time. When they come back to work, they have 30 days when they come back to work and also get this life insurance. So if you're on leave for an illness, even life-threatening, but you come back to work for a while, you still will have the eligibility to enroll in it. So I just wanted to put that out there also. I will ask, I heard in the motion, January 1st, we would ask that the board does decide to vote on this, if they would give a February 1st. So that allows our insurance department to really go ahead and advertise, get with our employees, allow them time to preview, read, and then make it effective. If you would just consider that, since we have implemented EGWIP, and we also extended the health insurance window for allowing people to change their health insurance policy. You allowed that to the board, so just that's as a consideration. Did that answer it, Mr. Lachele? Oh, and I'm apologize. And then again, they did match the 65,000 saving. Unum is through. They did give us another extended year with that guaranteed savings rate. Unum and US Able still is at 1 year extra.
Thank you. Any other board comments or questions for staff?
So, Mr. President, Mr. Angel needs to add February 1st in his motion, is that correct?
Right, I think you need to add February 1st to the motion. Ms. Gardner, could you, Fine. Can we add that to the motion, please, before we vote? Effective February 1st instead of January 1st? All we're waiting on is for the motion to be changed. right, the motion has been changed. Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
Seven for, two against.
Motion carries. Next item that was pulled by Ms. LeBeau, 3.6, discussion and action concerning salary schedule revisions and related budget revisions. Ms. LeBeau?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion that the board approve a revision to the bus driver pay scale as follows. Extend the pay scale from 31 years to 50 years, and beginning in year 32, increase the prior year's step amount by $13 each year.
We have a motion,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Centani. Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing none, is there any board member comment on this item? Ms. LeBeau?
Mr. President, we have several dedicated bus drivers that have been with us over 31 years. On our original pay scale, they did not receive a step increase past year 30. And so we want to go ahead and incorporate the step increases that they came to expect for their years of service from years 0 to 31 forward to 50 years. So, and we actually have several bus drivers with us, if you don't mind if I acknowledge them, that have served with us for over 31 years. Mr. Eugene Terrence was 40 years of service. Daryl Menard is 33 years. I don't think he's with us. Brenda, and I apologize, Brenda Panuzia has 35 years of service with us. Jody Gilbo is 34 years. Jamie McKenzie is 36 years. Vicki Landry is 31 years, and Miss Mary Cormier, 38 years. I'd also like to acknowledge the president, if you don't mind, of the Lafayette Parish Bus Drivers Association is with us, Laura Smith. We call her Smitty.
Smitty.
Yeah. And she's been an awesome advocate for those wonderful drivers that get our students safely to school every day. And then also Miss Mary Cormier is vice president of the Lafayette Parish Bus Drivers Association. We have, I believe there's been negotiations for several years to increase their pay past year 31. And so the original pay scale that was proposed tonight was a $400 increase year over year. But instead, I'm asking that we do the step increase that they've come to expect for their years of service year over year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board member comment?
Say something.
Ms. Morrison?
As most of you know, my husband drove for 25 years, and y'all drove with Purvis Morrison, and I know firsthand what you guys do day to day. Purvis drove for 25 years, and his mom drove for about 30, Ms. Grace Morrison. So congratulations to you all. I can't think of a better way to spend money is to invest it into these first line employees that takes good care of our students on the bus. You have their lives in your hands, and you treat them like your own. And I saw that with my own eyes. So thanks again for all you do, and congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Mrs. Centani?
Yeah, I can't wait to support this. I just have a question for Mr. Guidry. What's the price tag on this? I assume it's higher than the $12,000 listed on the agenda.
Yes, the prorated price tag, in other words, for this year, it would be $13,957. The full annual would be $21,900.
Thank you, Mr. Guidry.
You're welcome.
Any other board member comment? And as soon as we can get the vote up, I'll be more than glad to vote yes. Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote. You gotta make a second motion? Okay. Hang on to the vote. Oh, we can vote on this one. Okay, we're doing, okay, go ahead. And then we'll have another motion. Come on, Miss LeBou, this is my first smooth meeting all year, man. I'm on a roll, people. Look, I almost made it with no
Nine
mistake.
for, none against.
This passes unanimous. Thank y'all. Ms. LeBou, go ahead with your next motion.
My second motion would be that the board approve a general fund budget revision in the amount of $13,957 to allow an extension of the bus driver pay scale from 31 years to 50 years with an offsetting budget revision to the contingency line item.
Thank you. I have a motion. Second. Seconded by Mr. Angel. Any public comment? Any board member comment? Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote. Motion
Nine
carries.
for, none against.
I was waiting on you, Miss Dorothy. Motion carries. Congratulations to our bus drivers. Last item on the agenda was pulled by Mr. Angel. That was 3.8, discussion and or action concerning approval of bids for JROTC buildings at Acadiana High and Comeaux High. Mr. Angel?
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. President, that we in fact approve the bids for the junior ROTC building at Acadiana High and Comeaux High.
I'll second.
Who seconded that? Ms. Morrison. Motion by Mr. Angel, seconded by Ms. Morrison. I'll read the complete motion. That the board authorize staff to award the low bid plus alternate one to JC Construction LLC for $2,204,000 for the JRTC buildings at Acadiana High and Comeaux High in accordance with Louisiana public bid laws and our purchasing procedures and guidelines, and that the board approves the corresponding budget revision to the 2019 Construction Fund, Fund 71, in the amount of $216,000 to reflect the transfer from the administrative contingency budget line item proportionally into each project line item. That was in layman's terms too. Any public comment? Any board member comment? Mr. Angel?
Yes, sir, Mr. President, I would like to, I realize that due to the current situation, the pandemic, that we don't have the ROTC come and help us with the pledge, but I would just like to encourage that when it is possible, that they do come back and help us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I agree with you 100%. That's a very prideful moment for me also, having served in the Navy and having the Navy come do it. Any other public comment? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote. Almost flawless and almost the quickest meeting of the year. If you'll hang around, what we'll do is, if you don't mind, we'll allow each board member, being this is the last meeting of the year right before the holidays, we'll go around starting with Dr. Chasson, and if you have anything you'd like to say, you can start, Dr. Chasson. I know you're not shy. Go ahead. Yep, there it is. Ms. Dorothy?
9 for, none against.
Motion carries. Go ahead, Dr. Chasson.
Just want to say happy holidays to everyone, and thank you to all of our staff and students for the year that we've been having. Everyone has been fighting so diligently, and as a small, subtle reminder, but not so subtle, if you can give back to anyone for Christmas, it's my most favorite time of the year, and we always are able to give a large number of toys thanks to the donations of tons of schools and people passing through Walmart, we have boxes. So if you're able to give, not even necessarily to this cause, it's a wonderful feeling, and just wanted to wish everyone Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Dr. Chasson. Ms. LeBeau?
Dr. Chasson, you're gonna make me cry. I just want to say thank you to all the hardworking staff, administration, teachers, faculty, bus drivers, everybody who has worked so hard this year to make it all work in the most interesting year we've ever had. So I appreciate you very much. And I thank Miss Blanco and everybody that gave us this lovely little Christmas present. And I just want to let you know that this was a very first year that I've spent on this board. It was a difficult year, but I can tell you this board pulled together, worked hard, and the administration worked hard. And so I'm just so proud of the accomplishments we've made this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. LeBeau. Dr. Aguilar?
So I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and a special thanks to the entire team that represents the Lafayette Parish school system. We are educating kids under conditions that no one could have imagined 12 months ago. Kudos to everybody who worked to get us to this point. I personally was a little bit leery about trying to get started again, but the staff convinced me, and they've demonstrated that the health of our children and our employees is utmost, and we've done a good job up until this point of being able to educate these kids. I want to say kudos to the board. There were 3 new members of this board, and I think we have gelled over the last 12 months, and I think we are poised to begin another chapter in terms of construction for rebuilding the Lafayette Parish school system. I'm excited about where we are, and I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Dr. Aguilar. Ms. Morrison, Vice President Morrison.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'd like to wish everyone happy holidays. And again, I'd like to echo my fellow board members. This year has been really trying, but our superintendent, our staff members, our students, our teachers, our faculty, they all came together and they did a fantastic job. We had asked them to do so much more than what they normally do, and they graciously did it. They were working very hard to, educate our students so they are not left behind. And it's a lot of work, and I want them to let them know that I appreciate what they do. Our board, I really appreciate working with you all. And like Ms. LeBeau said, I think we work very well together. Also, our secretaries, Miss Amanda and Ms. Dolores, we really appreciate what you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Mr. Broussard, the man in red.
I just want to echo what everyone else said. Merry Christmas to the more than 4,000 employees, 30,000 students that makes up Lafayette Parish. This has been a real trying year. 2020 would go down as the most challenging year, unforgettable year in trying to keep families together, let alone educate the kids. And this all will be remembered. But I think this new board, like Dr. Aguilar said, has gelled and trying to, as I talk to people, we're trying to not to be 50. Our goal should be number 1, not avoid being 50. But we are heading that way, and we hope that 2021 will bring us closer together, better dialogue, so we can reach the needs of every student and every employee for the Lafayette Parish School Board and continue our family type gathering that we do hope in 2020 would do that, because we missed out on a whole lot this year as far as all the holidays and all the family gathering. I, who have a large family, would really do miss that. So Merry Christmas to everyone and happy holidays, whatever your fancy is, and have a good time.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard. Ms. Mason?
I just want to echo everyone's sentiments. Happy holidays. definitely has been, you know, I'm glad to hear from the more seasoned board members that this was the hardest year because this has been quite a year to be in public office. I'm so thankful for all of our teachers who have just shown up every day. You know, my kids are little, so, you know, we're in 1st and 3rd and 6th grade, and you know, my kids are very happy to be back in school. I know it's a risk for our teachers. You know, I'm just so thankful for them being the essential workers and stepping up and coming in and doing everything, you know, for our school system. Lafayette Parish has been, you know, a shining star in all of Louisiana and continuing education despite the pandemic. And I'm just so thankful for every single one of you and all of our bus drivers and our paras. I mean, everyone, you know, who is in front of the kids in the classroom, everyone behind the scenes, all of the staff here at LPSS. I mean, you guys have worked more than I've ever seen anyone work in my life. So thank you so much, and happy holidays. Take a good break.
Thank you, Ms. Mason. Mr. Angel.
Para nosotros que habla español, Feliz Navidad. Et pour nous qui parlent français, Joyeux Noël et bonne année.
Very well said, sir. Thank you. Mr. Centani.
Yeah, I barely speak English. I can't say anything else that everyone else hasn't already said. I am so thankful this year for the teachers and the staff in our schools, certainly the staff members who work so hard over the summer to get the schools open, but the staff members in the school that show up every day. From a parent's point of view, thank you for doing that. My son's bus driver has been there every day. My son's teacher, I think, quarantined a couple of weeks ago, but other than that, she's been there every day. Thank you for giving the plan a chance. Thank you for doing everything that you could to keep these schools open. It means so much to, I'm just going to go ahead and speak for all the parents. It means so much for all the parents, especially those with young children. So thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Centani. I guess bad thing about being president and going last, it doesn't leave much to say. But I want to thank all of you. First, I want to thank my fellow board members for having the trust and voting me in as president this year. I want to thank Ms. Morrison for serving as my vice president. Like they said, it has been the most trying year. I'm not going to sit here and say, woe is me that I had to be president during 2020. After some reflection and looking back, maybe there was a reason, and I think all good leaders will give the credit of the good things that happened this year. I'll give the credit to staff and my fellow board members. Any glitches, wrongs, or mistakes, I'll take full responsibility for, because they gave me the middle seat here. So all the good, let's thank those hardworking people in our system, all the way down from our superintendent, all the way down to all faculty, staff. I don't want to single anybody out. To the people that sit up here in the horseshoe with us, you do such a great job of, you know, Irma's staff. I didn't call her Ms. Trosclair because sometimes, you know, we have become friends and we all work together and we have a professional relationship, and I think we do have a relationship as friends because we do all try to gel. Ms. Dorothy and Amanda, who make me a lot smarter than I am. They've kept the thumb on me all year. Ms. Blanco is in my phone as LPSS done, because every time I call her and ask her, she's done. Dr. Rabelais, Ms. Hippolyte, Ms. Gardner. Just so y'all know, Ms. Gardner is in my phone under LPSS. I'm on it. Everybody has a little thing. Mr. Bordelon, your staff, Coach, Ms. Aloisio, Mr. Mouton. I don't want to leave anybody out, but all of you have done a great job. Our public relations department for keeping me out the paper. It's been a pleasure, and I'm thankful. I'm going to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, but we are like a family up here. We have our squabbles, good, bad, or ugly, but at the end of the day, I think we have each other's back. And I'm going to end this with Timmy, Kate, Don, Mary, Elroy, Hannah, Tommy, and Justin. Notice I didn't use the Mr. last name, because, you know, we are all really good friends. I want to wish y'all a Merry Christmas. I want to thank y'all for all y'all have done, all the support. I want to thank y'all for the battles. that we've won and that we've lost. Make it safe, make it great, and we'll see y'all in January. Ms. LeBou.
I'm sorry, I meant to mention also.
Yeah, it's fitting, my dear. Go ahead.
I know, I talk too much, but.
And you know the thing I want to mention? All other board members do this when they want to talk, even with a mask. I can tell when Ms. LeBou wants to talk by those eyes. You go ahead, say what you got to say.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I just saw Mr. Mouton on the front, and I just want to say this year was definitely enhanced by Love Our Schools and all the efforts you did to revive the schools.
Yes.
So I just want to say as a
Yes.
special thank you,
All
because
our partners.
everybody here, administration gets, but we really appreciate our community partners and supporters. And so if we didn't
Yes.
mention them, I just want to say thank you for all you do, and thank you for giving us a merrier place for the kids to come every day for school. Thank you.
See what you started? Go ahead, Ms. Morris. That's all right.
I just wanted to make a correction. I said Miss Dolores, Miss Dorothy.
Yes, we heard that.
I could
Ms.
not
Dorothy.
leave without saying that.
Huh? Yeah, but I'm not gonna. It's my last duty right here. I'll let anybody talk. Anybody else want to talk? And and one thing we'll ask is let's all keep Irma and her mother in our prayers, because I'm just waiting for an update on good news, and I know it's going to be good news that everything's fine. But this meeting is adjourned, and have a Merry Christmas and a very happy holiday and safe holiday season.